Wonderful learners of grade 3. It's a wonderful moment to be here on this platform to take you on the subject English language. First, I will ask you, how are you doing? I believe you're doing great, staying at home. Alright, today we'll be looking at an interesting lesson, Adjectival Clause. What did I say? Adjectival Clause. But before we go into this lesson, I hope you can still remember what adjectives are. The function or the place of an adjective. An adjective, as we know, is a word that is used to describe nouns and pronouns. It helps you give us more information about the noun or the pronoun that is being talked about. And then, like I said, we'll be looking at an adjectival clause. An adjectival clause, just like an adjective, will still perform the same function of an adjective. What will it do? It will give more information about the noun or a pronoun in a sentence. Alright, an adjectival clause, like I say, gives more information about a noun or a pronoun. It tells you more about a noun or a pronoun. That's an adjectival clause. It will still give you in a sentence. Now, if we look at the sentence like, the house which John lives is old. Maybe I'll just write it down. So we'll look at it. The house which John lives is old. Now this is a sentence. Now in this sentence, there is an adjectival clause here. But before I try to identify the adjectival clause, I would like us to know that for us to identify adjectival clause is being introduced by a relative pronoun or relative pronouns such as when, which, that, where, alright, so we say that to introduce adjectival clause, you need these words, these relative pronouns, when, which, that, where. That is why a sentence like this, the house which John lives is old. We would have just said the house is old. We would have just stopped there. The house is old. But now, which house? We are trying to remember I told us that this adjectival clause will help to describe the noun or the pronoun. It gives you more information, just like the work of an adjective. That an adjective gives more information. The adjectival clause will also give you more information. Like I said, we would have just said the sentence is the house is old. But we say the house, which John lives. Now, it therefore means that we can say the house which John lives is old. Now, what do I mean now? We will now say that which John lives is an adjectival clause. But remember I told us that a word like this will introduce an adjectival clause. Now we have the sentence, the house which John lives is old. So what have I just done? I have underlined my adjectival clause. Which John lives is old. So which John lives is our adjectival clause. And what information? Is giving us information about the house. That is not just any house. that we are talking about. We cannot just say the house is old. Now, which house? So which house is the house John lives? That's the house which John lives is old. So it's not just any house. So now we have been able to see that this adjectival clause has given us more information about this noun, house. Alright, the next we are going to look at another example. So we'll take this as example 1. Alright, example 2. The man that I saw at the bus stop robbed the bank. So what do we have here? The man that I saw at the bus stop robbed the bank. So we would have just said the man robbed the bank. If we decide to say our sentence is the man robbed the bank, will still make sense. But we'll also ask, that's where you now begin to ask questions. Please, which man? So that is where the adjectival comes to describe this or give more information about this noun, man. So we now bring it in as, so that we will not be confused. We'll now bring it in as that I saw at the bus stop. Imagine that I'm telling my friend something that happened. I'll now say that the man that I saw at the bus stop robbed the bank. So this is now our adjectival clause. That I saw at the bus stop. What did he do? He robbed the bank. Which man? The man that I saw at the bus stop. So this is that I saw at the bus stop has been able to give us more information about the man. Not just any man, but the one I saw at the bus stop. You still remember this introducing our adjectival clause? That introduces our adjectival clause. Alright, the next thing we are going to look at, we're going to look at our last example before we get our notes. Number 3, the environment where I work is very conducive. Is very conducive. The environment where I work is very conducive. I will just start by saying the environment is very conducive. But which environment is conducive? We start here. Can you look at it now? Where? You still remember where? We have other examples of this relative. Now, we'll say the environment where I work is very conducive. Where I work. So we stop there. So we'll now say this is our relative or adjectival clause. Because we would have just stopped the environment is very conducive. But we went further to describe the environment that is about the environment where I work. Not just maybe the environment where I live, but the environment where I work. So we have been able to look at these examples to say number 1, the house which John lives is old. We underline from which. This helps us to identify our adjectival clause. We move to example number 2, the man that I saw at the bus stop robbed the bank. Example 3, the environment where I work is very conducive. Alright, learners, we are going to move to our notes now. Alright, now this is our lesson. We're done. An adjectival clause is used to modify a noun or pronoun in the main clause. Now I explained that this adjectival clause still works like an adjective. It describes or gives more information about the noun or pronoun. So an adjectival clause is used to modify a noun or a pronoun, or is used to give more information about a noun or a pronoun. Now, it often uses these relative pronouns. Now, what are the infinitive pronouns that an adjectival clause will use for you to identify and say this is an adjectival clause? So you have when, whose, which, that, whom, etc. Now, we have other ones. Now, they are used to connect this adjectival clause to the words they describe. We are going to look at more examples now. But right here, we have an instruction. Underline the adjectival clause in the sentences below. Underline the adjectival clause in the sentences below. That's what we are going to do now. This one, we are going to do it together. Number 1. Is he the person whom you told me about? What person are we talking about? The person whom you told me. Remember now, this word whom is still further describing this person, not just any person. Oh, the person you told me about. Is he the person whom you told me about? So what do we do? Whom you told me about. Is he the person? What person? Whom? The one you told me about. Now, number 2. Where is the book which I left on the table? What book? The one I left on the table. Which I left on the table. So we say which I left on the table. Where is the book? What book are you talking about? The one which I left on the table. Number 3, my colleagues are teachers who love what they do. Who are my colleagues? They are the ones who love what they do. They are not just teachers, but the teachers. So I'm using this who love what they do to further describe who these my colleagues are. That they are not just teachers, but those who love what they do. So we start here. I hope you are taking note of the words that are used to connect this adjectival clause to the words they describe. So we have whom here, we have which, we have who. We have these words are used to further explain or describe these nouns or pronouns. Number 4, the oranges which are on the table are ripe. Which orange? The ones which are on the table. What kind of oranges? The ones which are on the table. So don't just go and pick anyone. The ones on the table. So we underline which are on the table. Now, number 5, the environment where I work is very conducive. We did this earlier in the earlier examples that I gave to us. Now, I know you can do this one too. If you are here, somebody will just underline for us because it's what we know. The environment where I work. So we underline where I work, not just any environment. So lovely learners at home, we've come to almost the end of our lesson where I'm going to write a very short homework for you to do, just to test your knowledge on this lesson, believing that you've learned something and you can actually practicalize by also underlining or identifying adjectival clauses. So we move to our homework. Okay, this is our homework for today. Underline the adjectival clauses in these sentences. We just have 3 sentences. Very simple, I guess, because just 3 sentences. The first one reads, people who are smart follow the rules. People who are smart follow the rules. The next one is, Charlie has a friend whose daughter lives in China. Number 3, chocolate, which many people adore, is fattening. Now, what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to actually do it for you, but I'm going to tell you this. Now, how you're going to get your adjectival clauses, look at the sentence, read it very well. Apart from just looking at those words that introduce your adjectival clause, think of what is that part of the sentence that is trying to explain something to me, that is trying to tell me something. And now look at this. I'm going to use this again just for your homework. The oranges which are on the table. Which are is trying to explain something about the oranges, trying to tell more, give more information about the oranges. If you do that with this homework, I'm sure you just have excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Okay, great pupils of grade 3. come to the end of our lesson for today. Remember, my name is Miss Jane. Do have a nice time and do your homework. See you. Bye.